If you don't know who I am, I'm Louise-Anne. I'm a domestic abuse recovery coach and I help women who have experienced domestic abuse in the past to heal so that they can move forward and live the life that they deserve and the life that they desire. I'm going to do a quick video. I just want to talk about some basic principles that in the self-healing, the self-development world are quite common to know about. So if you have done some self-development before, these may be concepts that you already are aware of, but I'm hoping to just build some clarity for those that aren't aware of these, because they're going to be terms and things that I discuss in future videos, and I just want to make sure that there is an understanding, like a basic concept. So what I want to talk about is the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and emotions. So I want to quickly do a summary. This isn't an in-depth video. I'm not going to be going into all parts of it because it is such a huge topic to try and cover. But for a basic understanding, our mind is made up of our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is about 5% of our thoughts, actions, habits, our thoughts, actions, and that's 5%. The 95% is our subconscious mind, and these are our habits, creates our emotions, it does all of the, so our subconscious mind controls all of the things like our blinking, breathing, heartbeat, hair growth. Everything that your body does is run by the subconscious mind, which is why it runs so much. It also holds all of your belief systems, what you think about yourself, the way you perceive the world, your understanding of the world. All of that is held in the subconscious mind. So up to puberty, so there's some disagreement around the exact age because it differs from person to person, but up to the age of about kind of 10 to 12, our frontal lobe, so our conscious mind, is not fully developed, which means that up until that age, all of the things that we see, we witness, and we are told within the world go straight into our subconscious mind. So we don't have a filter that says this is something I believe, this isn't something I believe. We take everything at face value, and so all of those create beliefs and ideas about the way the world works and what is and isn't, true. And that happens up until puberty. And then when we hit puberty, we go, our brain has developed all of this time, and our frontal lobe develops to the point that we end up with a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. So the conscious mind will then filter what we the information that we receive and decide whether or not this is something that we need to know and think about, or whether it can just go into the subconscious mind and just the information can just be stored. So up until that point, when we are told things, we believe them. When we experience things, those will go to create beliefs that we have about ourselves, about the way the world works. So that creates problems when you are an adult, because depending on what experience you had up until this point will mean that you have different beliefs about the way the world is, about yourself, about what is right, what is wrong, everything else. All of your beliefs will have been created, but you don't know what beliefs have been created. So it's kind of like up until that point, you have an extremely fertile soil and just everything that lands grows. So whether you want it to or not, all of these ideas have been planted. So if you live in a family who, it was always, you have to work hard for your money, money doesn't come easily, and then, or, easy come, easy go, I'd rather be kind than rich. All of these different things, these will create your money beliefs. This creates your ideas and your belief on how money works in the world. That goes into your subconscious mind, and when you are an adult, you will continue to live out these beliefs because they've grown. That is what was planted and that is what has grown. So if you come from a family that was very wealthy and there was always money, it can be that money's always there. I don't need to worry about money. Money supports me. I live an abundant life. There's always more money. Then you will live a life as an adult that follows that suit. There will be money, though, because that is the belief system you have, and so your mind will always make sure that your beliefs are kept to. You will always find a way of getting more money, or there will always be something for you because that is your belief. And so our beliefs work from many, many different aspects. It can be relationships, if you had parents that split up and it was like, oh, all men ever do is cheat, or women only ever nag, then that goes into your belief system, and that belief system forms how you believe relationships to work, or how you perceive people should act in relationships. So that becomes your belief system, and you live from this belief system. All of the decisions that you make will come from your subconscious mind. So you will be given an option. Your conscious mind will check with your subconscious mind and go, okay, well, what do we believe about this situation? And then you will get your answer, and that will be what comes back. And you will create scenarios based on the perceptions that you have over what is right and what is wrong, or what is true and what is false, in your subconscious mind. So if you believe that there are no good men and all men do are cheat, you will choose men that have the same traits or are more inclined to cheat, because you believe your subconscious mind will draw you to them. And if you believe that, marriage lasts forever, and that when you marry the one, that this is it, then your subconscious mind will create scenarios and it will not allow you to make, or you will struggle to make decisions that will cause that relationship to end, whether you want it, whether it should end or not, because your subconscious mind is saying, but this isn't my belief. This isn't the way it works. This isn't the truth of the world, So it works in different ways. They can be, and there are some amazing belief systems that you can have, but a lot of us are restricted by our limiting beliefs. And we hear a lot about our limiting beliefs in self-development because that's what we need to work on. We don't need to improve the things that are already, if there are flowers growing in, if there are flowers planted and flowers are growing, fantastic. We don't need to weed those. What we need to do is we need to get rid of all of the limiting beliefs or false beliefs about the way the world works, about who we are, and about situations and restrictions that we may have, or we may believe we have. So if you are told as a child, if you try and show your parents a piece of work and they are busy, and I'm a mum of 4, I know that I'm creating limiting beliefs in my children. There is no way that I can actually stop it. But if you go to your parents and they are busy and you speak to them, you're like, oh, I want to show you this, and they're like, not now, I'm busy. I can't look at that now, I'm busy. Look, I've got this thing to do, I can't right now. And that happens, if it happens once, then you create an idea. I'm not important. If it happens multiple times, that idea becomes a belief because you've now got evidence to back it up. Look at that time and that time and that time. It doesn't matter how many times your parent actually stopped what they were doing and paid attention to you, because that's not confirming the belief. What your mind will register is, oh yes, well, all of these times that Mum was too busy to have a look at the picture I drew, that's because I'm not important enough. That's because I don't matter. She doesn't care for me because I'm not good enough. Other things are more important than me. I'm obviously, unlovable. All of these beliefs will come from that situation. Then you become an adult, and in your relationships, you start to have these experiences where, oh, I'm unlovable, or I'm not good enough, or, you know, nobody has time for me, or nobody cares about what I have to say or what I have to do, and if nobody cares, then I'm not going to show them anyway, and nobody makes time for me, that will become your belief. And you will continue to see evidence of that belief. So your subconscious mind is working both for you and against you. When we have these situations between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, one of the things that we need to be aware of is our emotions. So your subconscious mind is where your emotional state comes from. Your subconscious mind is programmed when you are a child to tell you what situations create which emotional responses. This can be either from witnessing it from parents, family members, society. It could be the community that you grew up in. If you witnessed that these scenarios create certain emotional reactions, then you will have your subconscious programmed that this is the emotional reaction that happens when this situation arises. Now, people don't make you an emotion. People don't make you angry. People don't make you happy. Because as humans, we continually have all emotions within us. All of our emotions are always there. What happens is external factors or external situations call that emotion forward. It pulls it up. So if you think, like one of these pens, right? So we have all of these different emotional states, right? We've got loads more. But if you think a situation can happen within your conscious awareness, within your conscious field, somebody could say something to you. That trigger sends a message back, and your subconscious mind will say, okay, when we've experienced this situation before, or when we have witnessed this situation before, what emotion was it that was called? Okay, that was anger. Boom. And down comes anger. And you will experience anger. If you didn't experience anger and you experienced a different emotion, excitement, then excitement will come. So depending on the situation, you will experience different things depending on what your subconscious mind has been programmed to send. So all of your emotions are there within you, and it is your subconscious mind that is deciding which emotion you are going to feel at that point. It is why some people can experience massive amounts of excitement at a situation. Other people can feel massive amounts of anxiety or fear or dread. And that is because their subconscious mind has been programmed differently. So some people, if they had parents that were thrill seekers and got really excited and loved going on fairground rides and really wanted to go on the big roller coasters, they would actually have excitement associated with these external factors. If somebody had a parent that was afraid, so had a fear of dogs, and every time they saw a dog, they experienced fear, and the child witnessed this, and so, okay, I see a dog, fear, there is danger, I'm going to associate dogs with that experience of fear. So, as an adult, they end up with a fear of dogs. Not because they are afraid of dogs, but because their subconscious mind has associated that trigger, dogs, with that emotional response, fear. And it wasn't their fear, it was because they witnessed somebody else's fear that they believed that that is the way the world works, that you should be afraid of dogs, you should have this fear of dogs. So, when you have your emotional state and you know that your emotional state is controlled by your subconscious mind, which was programmed as a child, what you need to consider is now what situations are you experiencing as an adult that you are not responding to the way that you would like to. Like if you lose your temper to the extent that you are, you know, screaming, shouting, throwing things because you have experienced so much anger and frustration, where in your subconscious mind did you learn that that was the response that was given to this trigger? And it wouldn't be one of those things that happened once. It could be a build-up over time. So you learned that you got angry when somebody said something to you. When they say when this word is heard, this is the response. But then there's something else. When this word is heard and it is from a loved one, then this is the response, but magnified. You know, this is, you feel anger, but not just, you don't just get angry about it, you have the right to expel that anger and be, you know, throw things or say nasty things rather than internalizing anger because, hey, if this word is said in public by like somebody else, you don't throw things at them and you don't scream nasty expletives at them, you internalize that anger. So it's one of those things that it becomes a multi-layered effect, but your emotional state is dictated by your subconscious mind. In order to go through healing and in order to be able to heal from experiences such as domestic abuse, what tends to happen is your emotional state becomes completely dictated by somebody else. So you are told that no matter which emotion you feel, it's wrong. No matter what you experience, it's wrong. So no matter what your trigger is, and you start experiencing an emotional response, your emotions are completely dismissed. You are informed that this entire part of you, your subconscious mind, is completely wrong. And so you start to question, which means that you start suppressing these emotions or denying these emotions, or you're kind of like, you don't believe that you have the right to have all of your emotions because you're told you're crazy, you know, why are you acting like this? You're overreacting, all of these other things. So when you've experienced emotional abuse, your triggers and your subconscious mind, your emotional systems can become very overwhelmed. So you don't know what you're meant to feel at what point. What needs to happen is you need to take back control. You need to say, okay, well, I know I can control my emotions because whether it is my conscious mind or my subconscious mind, it is my mind. And I'm not going to give somebody else control of my mind anymore. I'm taking back that control and that responsibility. So if you lose control, if you lose your temper, it's your responsibility. But you need to look at it and say, okay, why did I go into that state? Why did I have that emotional reaction? And then look and say, okay, so was that something that was justified, or was I reacting to something from my past? You know, if I lose my temper to the extent that I'm screaming expletives to my partner, is that because, and I mean my current partner, not my ex, but if I start screaming at my current partner because of a situation, is that justifiable based on the current situation, or is that the fact that I was triggered and I experienced something that my subconscious mind went in and said, you've experienced this before and this is the reaction, you know, these are the emotions that you weren't allowed to express that time, express them this time. But I need to be aware of that because I'm taking responsibility and control of my emotional states. I'm the one that is controlling my conscious mind and my subconscious mind. I'm the one that decides whether or not I'm going to allow these emotions to be experienced with these triggers. You don't have to be triggered by everything. Not everything is going to deserve the same emotional response that you have always given it. There will be things that you currently feel a particular way about, but it doesn't necessarily deserve that emotional reaction. There are songs that I couldn't listen to because I created an emotional connection. So the song was the trigger, and I connected it to when my parents got divorced. I couldn't listen to those songs without crying. And not just crying, but full on sobbing, breaking my heart. It hurt. But I didn't want to associate those songs with those emotions anymore. So I had to become aware and go, okay, I understand why I feel this way when I listen to that song, but I can make another choice. I can connect another emotion to those songs, and it takes time. Reprogramming all of your emotions and your triggers, it takes time. And a lot of the time, it's not until you are triggered that you realise that you need to do some work on something. You don't know what is going to set you off until it sets you off. It's kind of a screwy situation. But when you know what is causing you issues within your emotional world and what is causing you problems when expressing your emotions, you need to have a look and say, okay, what is the trigger? What is the emotion that I'm expelling at that time? And is that how I want to react? Is that what I want to be like when I experience that trigger? Is it justifiable? Are these emotional states meant to be connected with these triggers? And you'll realise that sometimes, no, they're not. And you can learn to change that. So just as if you've planted all of these seeds and all of it, you've got the flowers growing and everything else in your subconscious mind, and you can weed them out. You can get rid of all of the negative thoughts and the negative beliefs that you have about these situations. You can clear them out, and that is what our job is as adults. Our job is as adults is basically to heal from our childhood, but it's to become the best version of ourselves, to free ourselves from the limiting beliefs, from all of the weeds growing in the garden. But you need to become aware of your emotional state, so your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and the emotions that you're connecting to different triggers. When you start taking charge of that, then you can start working on other aspects, and you will be able to call upon emotions even when you're not triggered by things particularly dramatic. But you'll be able to, when you've got this ability to control what emotions you feel, you'll be able to turn around and say, okay, well, I'm going to start doing a gratitude practice. I want to start feeling more grateful for the things I have in my life. Gratitude is an emotion, it's a feeling. So what you need to do is you need to learn how to control your emotions and then say, okay, what does gratitude feel like to me? And you will be able to consciously call the feeling of gratitude. So it doesn't matter. I should have brought my water. It doesn't matter if the what you have received is a big thing or a little thing. You will be able to get the same feelings of gratitude. You will be able to experience the same expansive, lovely, warm, fuzzy feeling that you get inside when somebody does something amazing for you. You'll be able to get that from a lovely cup of coffee, a really nice slice of cake, or you can tell I'm hungry, or when you get up and you see a beautiful sunset, and you'll be able to just put your hand on your heart and you'll just be able to call on that emotion and just be able to experience gratitude for the life that you have, because you have control over your emotions. And when you are in situations that other people are getting very angry when they are experiencing loss of control of their emotions, you'll be able to look at yourself and say, okay, they are angry. Is it my anger? No. Okay. I'm not going to call on that anger. I'm not going to allow that anger to come to the surface for me. I'm not going to allow myself to get into that state. And you'll be able to separate yourself, and you'll be able to put some emotional barriers around, not barriers, emotional boundaries around what you are and aren't going to allow to trigger you, what you are and aren't willing to experience in your life. You need to experience your negative emotions as well as your positive ones. because we are human and we have a right to experience all different emotions. So it's not about suppressing your negative emotions. They are unpleasant to feel, but they are part of life and they are necessary to have a fully human experience. They are necessary to express and release. But what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to express them and release them in a way that you feel empowered by, when you feel in control about them. You're not going to be expressing them and releasing them in a way that is detrimental to yourself or to others around you. So I hope that helps. If you do have any questions, then just reach out and let me know. And you know, take care. I hope to see you soon. I'm going to be doing some more videos about gratitude practices and how they have helped me, and some top tips on how to bring them into your life. If you like this video, then share. If it's helped you, like it, whatever. Take care, darlings. Bye.